right? That's what we're looking for here. All right, and so I would want you to tell me individually. Listen, if I have number 5 and 7, that's a 3/4, and that's for the dryer, fine. 20 amp breaker, 30 amp breaker, fine. That's what I'm looking for this exam. Yes, sir. If I would have had to give you the size paper, what they say we put this on, 4.5 meters. That's a big sheet of paper. I need but 5 rooms for 20 people to do an exam. And that's why we have to do the conversion. So just for exam purposes. The other thing, coming from the question paper, the code tell you where they want the service to be located. You see over here? And you give me a nice little small drawing and say, oh, this is where my service is located. They can tell you. Mr. Turner, always, because we ain't gonna give you we call it no navigational compass, no compass rules on this here. And so when you stand in the front door of your building, to the top is north. So this north here, this north, that's south, east, and west. That's extremely important you get that.
So in question 1, it telling you where to put this meter can?
Yes, sir. And you can see on top of your distribution board, they can ask you where your service is located. They can ask you
what a bedroom on the east side of bedroom number what?
Yes, sir. But I'll tell you, east side, it might say it is located. In this case, the service is located to the rear of the building on the eastern wall.
That's a correct rating then.
Yes, sir, right there. To the rear of the building on the eastern wall. All right. So somebody tell me what's wrong. What you see wrong in that carport? That's number 1.
I see no plugs.
You ain't see no plugs? I see a plug.
Down low on the wall.
So what does it say? That's a plug?
And not in the ceiling?
Then in the ceiling? No, that's a wall.
Okay, that's a wall. Okay.
So what I see in there is you're supposed to have like a receptacle for each carport, right? For each space of the car.
Each space. So I need another receptacle. That's very much correct. So that comes from section 26.7. They tell you in a carport where I have space, even though they're on the same circuit, I must have a receptacle for each car slot.
On either side of the wall.
Now you can put it any which way you want to put it, but this ain't no garage, it's a carport, but it's the same thing.
It's the same thing. Okay.
Right. You can put it on either side and you would think it practically. In this case where it's well, they said it's a garage. I would put one here to the front and I'd put one here down to the back.
Right.
If I was locating that, that's how I will do it.
Okay. See right where your mouse is. Right. So the gas range plug and that plug to go up to the same place. No.
You want me to chop you up, right? I don't tell you, don't play.
Oh, yeah, you just said
listen to me, sir. Listen, sir.
The garage got to be on the circuit by itself.
The receptacles in the carport, sir, must be on a branch circuit by themselves.
Independent circuit.
Yes, sir. All right. That's important. I want you to read section 26.700, please, man. If you put it in, that's where you can lose points. Okay. The other thing, somebody look inside. What else you see missing off of this? And this is intentional. But inside the belly of the plant, what else you see missing?
Inside the garage talking about?
No, inside.
I see no panel.
Inside the building, right? You don't see no panel. So that panel, we know how we draw a panel. It's a square, and then we actually circle it. I'm not so you can shade one side of it. And why a panel is not located here, again, it's a part of, that's how the symbol should look. But on top of your distribution board, it can ask you where your panel is located. It can ask you where your panel is located. It's for you to tell me where you can locate your panel. But the code tells you where a panel cannot be. A recommendation for you, and I've seen electricians do this over and over, and they always get into trouble. You ain't gonna put no panel on this bathroom wall, on this bathroom wall here. But you can put that ground screw inside there, can go right into the tile, and people start getting shocked when they're showering. So you ain't gonna put it on that wall there. My recommendation is to either put it on the study wall or right down, not around where the kitchen counter is, right down where those two switches are on the wall there in the hallway.
Carry your mouse there so I can see.
Either you put it on this wall here, or down in here.
That's the front door wall.
Yeah.
And the
Either-
wall
Yeah,
right in there.
Place, right. Why I won't put it here? Why I won't put it here is because it's close to my kitchen where most of my feeders are, and also close to my utility. Right.
Right.
So I have a shorter run for my supplies. Right? It's a madness for everything you do electrically. That's why you have to see this. You have to be able to understand exactly what's happening. But on your distribution board, it can ask you where your panel is located. So if it's located in the hallway, indicate it is located in the hallway. Indicate that, and it's surface mounted. We ain't doing nothing flush. Them days it's flush, well, they're almost over for using concrete. So it's a surface mounted. But if you say it's flush, then it's flush. All right? We ain't penalizing you for that. I need to see that panel. I need to see that panel. I need to see where the service is located as well. These are extremely important. Because if you don't put no panel, you have to put a service and I don't see no panel, it means you ain't got no panel. Even though you give me a distribution board, I don't see no distribution board, you ain't got no panel. So don't tell me that's a mistake I miss and leave it off, Mr. Turner. You ain't got no panel. So what are you looking for a panel for? Yes, sir. So that's
So, Mr. Doc, not to cut you off. So to get the square footage of this inside, we measuring from the stove wall to bedroom to wall.
You measure
Correct.
from here,
Right.
straight down here, and it's inside from here, straight over here. Length times the breadth over 2 times 2. Yes, sir. That's all news. Okay, so that's important. That's all news, Mr. Turner. One other thing I said, Mr. Store, and I thought you was looking at my plan when I was telling you measure your hallway. So this is how we measure the hallway. Chance, I want you to follow me. Remember I say we can close these doors. Close bedroom 1 door, bedroom 2 door, close the bathroom door, close the study door, and we can put a dotted line right across here. Dotted line right here. That's the living room. So that living room is inside us. So we ain't actually measuring that. This area over here, just this point here. So we'll come from here, and this is my recommendation. We'll come from here, go straight down, center point here, and then we go straight across to where the door closed in bedroom number 1. That's your hallway. So go again, we go from the front door, straight down, and straight right to the entrance of bedroom number 1. You measure that. If that distance is more than 9 centimeters, and the code say receptacle should be placed 4.5 meters, should be no more than 4.5 meters apart in your hallway. If this area here, let me convert the 4.5 into centimeters, that's where I got the 9 from. If that area is more than 9 centimeters, it means I need 2 receptacles. If it's less, then I can place my receptacle wherever I want it, because the 3-feet cord that I have in the vacuum cleaner could reach all around here. That's what that means in there. Okay, that's extremely important. So your task is quickly find out what is the distance from your front door out to bedroom number 1 entrance. If it's more than 9 centimeters, just drop a receptacle inside there. You ain't got to go no crazy measurement for that. Any questions on that? Okay, good. Okay, I'm back now to where I want to be. Section 26722. The code tells us receptacles in dwelling unit should not be no more than 1.8 meters apart from each other. Should not be no more than 1.8 meters apart from each other. And they speak about something called usable wall space. And they said any area that is 900 millimeters or more is classified as usable wall space, and a receptacle must be there. Is there any questions on that? Is there any questions on that? Okay, so I come into bedroom number one. I measure the length of my door. I measure my length of my door. And then I take my ruler and I measure. If that door came to 3 centimeters, 4 centimeters, and you could do this, I mark that. I mark that spot. And then this area that is left after I mark that spot, if this area here is 900 millimeters, and when I convert 900 millimeters into centimeters, that give me 1.8 centimeters. If that area here is 1.8 centimeters, then I need to have a receptacle because that is classified as usable wall space. How do I calculate? How do I convert 900 millimeters into centimeters? What you do, you say 900 divide by 1,000, that give you 0.9 meters, and then we multiply that by 2. And that gave us 1.8 centimeters. And so my usable wall space converted into centimeters is now 1.8 centimeters. That's usable wall space. Any questions? Somebody talk to me. Mr. Storr. China, talk to me. You understand what that usable wall space is?
You're saying the space behind the door. You say you measure your door, find the opening of that, and then you measure between the closet wall and the wall and back where the door opening is.
No. I say measure the door.
Right.
If the door comes to 2 centimeters, I measure from here to
2
here.
centimeters.
That's 2 centimeters. I put a mark there.
Right.
From that 2 centimeters to this wall here, if this area here is 1.8 centimeters,
drop a plug there.
I need a receptacle there. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
Any question? Anybody else? Any question? This is extremely important. I can come to the kitchen. I come to the kitchen. They ain't got nothing. They ain't got nothing to do with the measurement in the kitchen. Yes, sir. They ain't got nothing. Yes or no? They ain't got nothing to do with the kitchen. They ain't got nothing to do with your kitchen. Yes, sir. Your kitchen measurement is totally different. Right. And this plan here was crafted over the last code. You will see that in this new code, there isn't a required for a receptacle in the kitchen to be on an independent circuit. If you notice with this receptacle here, it used to say where a dining room form part of a kitchen, that receptacle should be on its own circuit. The code has changed. They actually deleted that out. And so if you notice closely on this drawing, you'll see a number on there, number 6. So when I would have gone to that distribution board, that receptacle would have been on circuit number 6. And this 11 represent that refrigerator circuit.
Hey, good afternoon. I was sorry to interrupt you.
Yes, sir.
Someone having problems logging on. They asked if you could send a recording after class finish for this one and last one.
Okay.
All right,
good. What I can do, I think I said it, Mr. Turner. What I'll do, I'll pop both of them in. I actually did a number of recordings, but I don't want to overwhelm. But I'll send the last one and this one. Okay. All right. So we'll talk about the kitchen. I just want us to lock down the layout of our receptacles. The other thing, as we in bedroom number 1, you don't put no switch behind the door. You don't put no switch behind the door. Okay, I can stop right here again. Is there anything else you see wrong with this plan? Anything else? Look at the switches. Everybody see the switch? Everybody see those in bedroom number one? Look at the switch, a single pole switch. You see that switch going to the light, but they have a solid line. So why have a switch if it's a solid line? It should be a dotted line to show that it's controlled. And so I would want you to do a dotted line to show coming from your single pole switch to that light. The dotted line means it could be turned off and on, and that is why you have S1 there. If you look inside your closet, you see PS.
Full string.
Full string, you got it. Extremely important. And so if you can put one there, then you need to indicate that. You need to indicate that. Please don't put no switch behind the door. I can just say, Mr. Turner is a rookie. He ain't serious. He get in the field and do that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's extremely important. Extremely important.
So in all these cases, we draw a solid line and not dotted line.
No, you draw a dotted line, not a solid line. Now, I ask you to tell me what you see wrong. Yes, that solid line is incorrect.
Okay.
Right. We want a dotted line to show that it's being controlled by a switch.
Right.
Okay, that's extremely important. It means like direct. It'll be like a fan. They will use a pull on it, but that dotted, when you have a switch, the switch on the dotted line indicates that it's being controlled. All right, I'm zooming in now to bedroom number one again. So you see these general receptacles here, not the AC, these general receptacles. My voice measurement, and this is what I want you to get a good understanding. When I am converting 1 meter into centimeters, because my plans tell me 2 centimeters represent 1 meter, that means that my voice receptacle is 3.6 centimeters. Everybody see where I got a 3.6 centimeters from?
I guess that.
I said, the code tells us, section 26722, that no receptacle should be no more than 1.8 meters apart from each other. When I convert 1.8 meters into centimeters, because my plan say 2 centimeters represent a meter, in order for me now to convert that 1.8 into centimeters, I just said 1.8 times 2. It gave me 3.6.
I gotcha.
Okay, that's important. Now, Mr. Stowe, I see I open up now. What you talking about? If you look on section 26722, that is where I got that 1.8 meters from. And don't get confused with this 1.8 meters. You're gonna see me come again when I talk about. You can hear about 1.8 centimeters. You can hear that come when I go in the kitchen. So the code tells us receptacles should be no more than 1.8 meters apart from each other. When I convert that 1.8 meters into centimeters, it means my voice receptacle can be 3.6 centimeters. And these are duplex receptacle. Code is talking about a duplex receptacle.
So from in the corner where you have your arrow now, you're saying pull.
From here to here, 3.6 centimeters. I can do a demonstration on the board. Hopefully this could help you to see this clear. I want you all to look at this because this is extremely important for when you come to laying out your plan. Just make some room. Okay. So tell me you got a good view on your board? Can't you got a good view on your board? Yeah. So you can see me.
See right now. Let me open the screen up some more.
Take my screen up some more.
No, I was checking my screen.
Okay. I want to see here.
Oh, no. All right, I can see that. You won't do nothing yet, right?
I do nothing yet, no.
All right, I can see that.
Okay, good. All right. I can do it in black, so hopefully it come up. All right, so let's say I can do a straight line first. So we got the straight line. The code tells us no receptacle should be no more than 1.8. 1.8 meters.
I can't see that. You could tilt back a little bit, please. All right, that's cool.
All right. So the code tells me when I measure the layout my receptacles in a room, they should be no more than 1.8 meters apart from each other. So when I take my 1.8 meters, my first receptacle, let's say the first receptacle come here. We know when we convert 1.8 meters into centimeters, that is equal to 3.6 centimeters, because I just multiplied 1.8 by 2. And so my first receptacle is here. What type of receptacle I'm using? A duplex receptacle. Codes will be using a duplex receptacle. And so that 1.8 meters covers on either side because it's a duplex receptacle. And so my first receptacle is 3.6 centimeters. My next receptacle is 7.2 centimeters. My next receptacle is 7.2. I can't hear Mr. Stewart.
You want another 3.6?
Yes, sir. Everybody see that? And why that is the case is that it's a duplex receptacle, and I cover in 1.8 on this side and 1.8 on that side. Everybody got that?
Yep, I got that.
Okay, good stuff. Watch this now. Let's say hypothetically, and again, you can cover this 1.8 here.
So that's two receptacles already.
Yeah, that's
on that one wall.
That's the first. Yeah, that's the first one, and that's the second one. I want you to see if you look inside bedroom number 1. Trying to mimic that. And so when I take my next measurement from here, all I doing is adding, coming from this receptacle I measure here, another 3.6 centimeters onto that.
So how you get that going around the bend?
That's how I come around the bend here. Okay? You got this receptacle here. And again, it's a duplex receptacle. Watch me now. If this space over here, because your duplex covering 1.8 centimeters on either side, and so from here to here, we got this 1.8. But the space that is left on this side is say just 1. I could back my receptacle down if I so choose. I could back it down. And let's go in bedroom number 1. Look in bedroom number 1. So I measure my first receptacle, measure the second one, and I got my third one. See, this is my third one here. The space that is left here is less than, on either, because remember this is a duplex receptacle, is less than 1.8 centimeters, so I could back my receptacle down a bit. That's why we get to actually center them receptacles, because I could push it down. Because the code say, I don't want my receptacle to be no more than 3.6, 1.8 meters apart from each other, or 3.6 centimeters. I don't want you just, and this is extremely important for when you come to the oral, that you understand if the question asks, what is the distance receptacles need to be placed apart, it is 1.8 centimeters, 1.8 meters, 1.8 meters apart. We only using 3.6 centimeters here because our plan is doing the conversion. I don't want you to go there, Mr. Store, and tell them, Mr. Inspector, Mr. Darwell told me at BTVI that receptacles should be 3.6 centimeters apart. No, that's what I'm saying. We're doing a conversion. In the field, you can say, I want my receptacles 1.8 meters apart. That's the code requirements. Also, which is extremely important, usable wall space. Usable wall space. And the code tell me any area that is 900 millimeters is classified as usable wall space. And you should have a receptacle there. Say that again. The code tells us any area that is 900 millimeters, and I can use the spot right there if you look at my cursor, 900 millimeters, you should have a receptacle. So let's go inside bedroom number 2. We measure the doorway, mark it out. If this area after we mark it out is 900 millimeters or 1.8 centimeters, we have to put a receptacle there. We go again. Bedroom number 2 or bedroom number 1, we measure the door. When we mark this out, if the space that is left between the closet and where we mark the door space where the door can hang, if this area here is 900 millimeters or more, or 1.8 centimeters or more, we have to put a receptacle there. Even though the code told us, when we lay out our receptacles, the first one, or they shouldn't be no more than 1.8 meters apart, and when we convert that 1.8 meters, it's 3.6 centimeters. But because the code defines usable wall space as any space that is 900 millimeters or more, or 1.8 centimeters, we would have to put a receptacle there. Any questions on that?
You confused me when you keep saying 1.8 centimeters.
All right, let's go 3.6, 1.8 meters.
All right.
1.8 meters. That's what the code say.
So, Mr. Darwell, so the first one coming off by the wall on that little bend right there, your
Right
first
there.
plug will be 3.6.
3.6.
Right.
Next one, 7.2, if you want to measure like that.
So another one would be another 3.6.
Onto that 7.2. Yes, sir.
Right. And then coming around the bend.
Right. And you got to come, you got to measure all of this here. All of them down there to come up with your 7.2.
Oh, okay.
All of it. You can't go zigzag.
So if just less than that, you just make up the rest on the next side of the wall, and then that's where the rest is.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's one room. You what you mean? All of them is one wall, that's why you put your steel there and tie them in so the building can stand up. So yes, you have to do the whole perimeter. If you read section 26.7, 27.22, it tells you.
I see where it says 1.8.
But it says measuring horizontally. Measuring horizontally. Okay? That's extremely important. Mr. Joseph, talk to me if you got this. I'm moving.
Can you give me the code? Give me the 26 section.
722. Section 26.722. Let me stop sharing for a minute and pull it up. I had it up earlier.
I have it.
You got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
When we talk about the measurements, you were saying you could go over that spot and you're saying you could actually push the receptacles back when you
could.
measurements.
Yes, you could. Okay, let's go back here. Joseph, tell me if you interpret, make sure you got it right. Tell me what your interpretation is. So if I need to clean it up, I could clean it up now.
900 millimeters after the door. 900 millimeters is considered wall space.
It's usable wall space. So when you convert that, right, usable wall space. When you convert 900 millimeters into centimeters, that's 1.8 centimeters. You gotcha? So that's your usable wall space. So when I measure this doorway here, mark it here, the space that is left between the closet and the mark where the door would be, if that is 900 millimeters or 1.8 centimeters, I need to have a receptacle there. Yes, sir. So you go mark out this door, and, right, and then you got it right. Yes. Mm-hmm. That's extremely important. So let's look how we can back these receptacles down a bit. So let's say hypothetically, and you measure, I got a receptacle. That's my first 3.6 centimeters. Or the code defines it, Mr. Joseph, as 1.8 meter, and I'm giving you the conversion. So my first receptacle is 3.6 centimeters.
From the door?
From here. Look. If you look at,
I'm looking.
yeah. From here, the first receptacle is 3.6 centimeters. The next receptacle, because code say we should be no more than 1.8 meters apart from each other. And we know that 1.8 meters is 3.6 centimeters. So my next, because it's a duplex receptacle, my next receptacle will be 7.2 centimeters. Tell me if you follow with that.
You just add this 3.6 plus 3.6.
Right.
So why didn't you start from, we're going to start from the entrance of the door?
You mean here?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can start here. Go watch this now. So I start here. I measure this wall. If this wall here is 900 millimeters or more, I need to put a receptacles. But when I get here, there's an opening, so I can't do nothing there. I got to start over when I get on this wall.
Okay, so you start over from the corner, right there.
Right from here, yes, sir, from the tip to go around. Good observation.
Mr. Dowell,
Yes, ma'am.
which rule you say is this?
Section 26722.
Mr. Darwin,
Yes, sir.
I'm looking at my ruler, right?
It's a centimeter ruler?
Yeah, it's a centimeter ruler.
Okay.
On your drawing saying 2 centimeter to 1 meter.
2 centimeters represent a meter, yes.
Right. So again, the 2 centimeter, which will bring me to 1 meter.
What you may bring you to 1 meter? Hold your ruler up. Let me see your ruler. I got all of the liar. Okay, you got a measuring tape. No.
Okay, if this 2 centimeters here.
Right.
So this would be one meter.
For no. So understand me. This for the exam, the conversion we saying 2 centimeters represent 1 meter, and that's for calculation purposes.
Right.
You using a centimeter ruler. So your centimeter ruler, what you want to do first, and I said this to folks, 900 millimeters is 1.8 centimeters. 1.8, right? So find 1.8. Get the
So
one.
That's 1 plus 8 strokes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And if you find your 3.6 centimeters, find your 7.2 centimeters, find your 10 point whatever centimeter, find them and mark them.
Okay. So 1.8 is 1.8 on the ruler.
Mm-hmm. But you got to know when to apply that.
Right.
Ms. Tracy, you found that section in the code?
Yeah, I found it. I'm trying to
Interpret it?
I'm interpreting it a bit differently.
Tell me.
I'm trying to understand.
Tell me your interpretation, ma'am.
You're saying distance the receptacles 1.8 meters away from each other, right?
Yep.
But how I interpret it is that no space along the wall should be more than 1.8 meters from a receptacle.
Right.
That's not the same thing as them being spaced 1.8 meters apart.
So let me pull the rule up so we could be on the same page. Hopefully it'll make it a little clearer for you.
Because what I'm saying is, if I have two receptacles spaced from each other on the wall,
Mm-hmm.
and the minimum space on the wall, hold on, let me read it again.
Go right ahead.
Minimum, so that no point along the floor line of any usable wall space is more than 1.8 meters horizontally from a receptacle. So that could be 1.8 meters on any side. So if I have a receptacle and I have it spaced 3.6 meters from another receptacle
Mm-hmm.
instead of 1.8 meters from another receptacle, that would meet this rule.
So
At no point between them will I be further than 1.8 meters from a receptacle.
So let's agree we're talking about a duplex receptacle.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And so you agree that a duplex receptacle can cover 1.8 on either side of that receptacle?
1.8, yes.
Right.
And the next receptacle that you place should cover 1.8 on each side.
Right.
That means 1.8 between both of them would be 3.6.
Okay. So you hopefully you can see the
That's how I read it to be.
so let's go over it. I think I have it pulled up here. And it says, here we go. It said section 26.722 sub-rule A. Except as otherwise provided for in this code, in dwelling unit, duplex receptacles. So number one, they've been specific on what type of receptacle they're chatting about. Duplex receptacles. Duplex receptacles shall be installed in the finished walls of every room or area other than that of a bathroom, hallway, laundry room, water closet room, utility room, or closet, so that no point along the floor line of any usable wall space is more than 1.8 meters horizontally from a receptacle in that or an adjacent space, such distance being measured along the floor line of the wall space involved. So let's look at it from the drawing. Hopefully everybody can see the board.
Put it up a bit. Bring it up a bit. And then to your left.
Good.
That's your left?
Yeah,
Okay, I guess that's good, yeah.
that's good. Let me know. I'll do one adjustment necessary.
Go for a little more.
Turn some more.
Yeah, so we can see the yeah right
Okay,
now.
that's cool.
Good. Okay. So Mr. Tyson, I want you to see this as a wall space, one shaped like an L. So the code tell me my first receptacle will be 1.8 meters. Will be 1.8 meters apart. When we convert that 1.8 meters, that's equivalent to 3.6 centimeters. So that's where I place my first receptacle.
I see what you're saying now.
That's where I place my first receptacle, my first bar. Okay? Because it's a duplex receptacle. Because it's a duplex receptacle, I want you to see this one half as a receptacle and this half as a receptacle. And so I can cover 3.6 on this side and 3.6 on this side, or 1.8 centimeters, or 1.8 meters. No more than 1.8 meters apart from each other. You follow me, Mr. Tyson?
I follow in what you're saying.
This is what the code saying. There, what I said.
I don't think, okay.
That's what the code. There, what I said. That's what the code said.
Code, it doesn't say place them 1.8 meters apart.
It says it shouldn't be no more than 1.8 meters apart.
No, it's a no space should be more than 1.8 meters from a receptacle.
Right, no space. And so this space here, look. Watch me now. This is the start of my wall. This is space.
I ain't talking about that space there. I agree with that space there.
Okay, this space here.
Okay, that space between those two.
Right.
If I'm at the center here,
Center where? Center here?
if I'm at the center of those two receptacles,
When you say center, tell me what you classify as center.
okay, you see the two? No, I'm at the center of the wall space between the two. So right in the middle there, where your finger is.
Right here?
Yeah, if I'm right there, right?
If
I want to plug my phone in
right.
to one of those receptacles. I am within the code requirements because I am close to them.
That's
right?
it.
I'm in the code requirement. Now I'm saying how I interpret this is that if that second receptacle was that one, if that was 3.6 meters away, and I want to plug my phone in.
6 centimeters away.
No, 3.6 meters. So times 2.
Where you get 3.6 meters from?
Because no space should be more than 1.8 meters from at least one receptacle.
Right.
If I double the space between them, I would still, wherever I be on that wall space, I would be within 1.8 meters of a receptacle on either side.
So
I see what you said, you know.
No,
So, Mr. Darwin, my quick question, right?
And I
Not
see
to
what
cut
you
you
said.
off. If we take the measurement from the beginning of the wall and the code saying 1.8,
right.
how we end up to 3.6?
Because you, first of all,
Centimeters.
we convert it to centimeters.
So when you combine it by centimeters, you times it by 2 is what you're saying.
That's correct. Yes,
the code
that's
said
correct. Yep.
Y'all keep forgetting the centimeters. Mr. Dabble, they're mixing it up because the receptacles are only 1.8 meters apart, no matter what.
Right. This is what I'm trying to get Brother Thurston, Sister Thurston and Mr. Turner to understand that the code tell you the first receptacle got to be 1.8 meters apart from each other. I want, and let's not talk conversion yet. I want you to understand that a duplex receptacle could cover 1.8 on either side because it's 2. So if I'm a duplex receptacle, I'm covering 1.8 on this side and 1.8 on the other side. The code say no space in between.
Hold on, that's if your duplex receptacle is laid out horizontally, but if it's vertically.
No, I ain't going there. Now, don't tell me that the code been Pacific.
Code said horizontally. Just make it.
All right, sir. And again, if you when they was like that, it still give you that same catch. I could cover it on either side because I could plug a vacuum on this side and you vacuum that way. I could plug in the same receptacle and plug 1.8 meters on the opposite side. So it gives you that cover.
We don't put plugs like that in Freeport like that.
Because you already follow the code.
When I go NASA, I say, but that's some weird things now.
No, that's the code.
Do you read it? It says horizontally. You read it. It says it.
Yeah, I said that's what I'm saying. It's there. And so, Ms. Trayson, I want you to understand that.
Some people do.
But do we understand why they do it horizontally?
No, I will find out now.
Think about the ground, where the ground is supposed to be.
Closer to the water if it catches flood.
Closer to the ground, that's correct. And so if you have the ground vertically side by side, you ain't protecting. And so that's why, and that's probably almost Mr. Chairman.
So the neutral side, your plug facing down to the ground there.
The ground face to the ground.
Oh.
Ground is just safety. So if they still doing that in Freeport, you tell them change. Take that single gang classroom and switch it. But let's go and chase a little bit more. Because the code tells us, and I know that my duplex receptacle, and that's why the code was very specific when they said duplex receptacle. It has ability to cover the 1.8 on either side. And we don't want no space in between there. The other thing also is that the average appliance comes, the cord itself is almost 2 feet, the average one. Some cases 3 feet. And so that's the reason why. And so no space left because my duplex will cover 1.8 on either side or 3.6 centimeters. And that's why I say our first receptacle will be 1.5 3.6 centimeters. The next one, 7.2 centimeters. The next one, 10 point, you can make 10 point, 10 point, somebody give me the number.
I think I figured it out. I think I understand.
You got it?
Yeah, because if you look at the scale drawing says you need every meter is 2 centimeters.
2 centimeters, yes.
But you need 1.8 meters just for your first plug.
Yeah, for his plug.
So thus you just multiply that because the scale says 2 centimeters.
That's the conversion.
That wouldn't be enough for your first plug.
That's correct.
So technically you have to times it twice, times the 1 meter
by two
in order to get to convert it back to that. All right, I understand.
Okay, so you're saying if you use the 1.8, it can be too close to the next one.
No, I want to see this again.
Look at the thing that said on your drawing. It says scale is 2 centimeters to 1 meters.
Yes.
So I understand what you did because your 2 centimeters is only 1 meter, and your 1 meter for your first plug is supposed to be 1.8. That ain't gonna be enough. Your 2 centimeters ain't gonna be enough. So you have to multiply that. You have to multiply your 1 meter twice in order to get that 3.6 centimeters.
Equivalent.
Actually be 1.8 meters.
That's correct.
Okay, because the 1.8 under the
equivalent to 1.8. You have to convert it, and so the equivalent to the 1.8 meters is 1.8 times 2, which is 3.6 centimeters, because what you was working with. But let me get another little piece on that. So hopefully, Ms. Trayson, you with us with that. Mr. Grunt? Mr. Green?
Yeah, I always get with that.
Okay. All right. So I want us. I was showing this, trying to show this from the drawing. I want you to take a look. So let's say we come here, and when I measure now, this is where my 1.8 ends on this side of this receptacle. But when I measure this wall's place here, because my next receptacle is supposed to be 10.8 plus 3.6. 8. My next receptacle is supposed to be 14.4 centimeters. That's where my next receptacle is supposed to be. But when I come and I measure this wall, that's where my next receptacle is supposed to be.
So you're adding the shortness from the next one.
Yeah, we gonna measure it. And so we gotta measure the space. If this space here, we know we have to put a receptacle here because this receptacle only can cover 3.6 centimeters on this side. So I gotta measure the space. This space here now, if it comes to, it should be, in this case, like I said, 14.4 centimeters. But if it's less than that, I can now go ahead and say, all right, fine, I can put this receptacle here. I'm gonna put it there. But because this wall end here, I could back this receptacle down. I could back that down a bit. Because you don't want to put the receptacle dead hard to the end of the wall. Because there ain't nothing else there. And so you could go ahead and back that receptacle down. And if I back this down 2 centimeters, I can back each other receptacle down 2 centimeters. Let me just pull that up. Hopefully, Ms. Trayson, that made things, or cleared something up, part of that up.
So I have to back down all the receptacles. I can't just say like, I can back that one down and let's leave it like that.
You could, it's sometimes for cosmetics, it look, and I see this out in the field a lot of the time. Like, and what I was saying, let me just point this out here. Let's say with this receptacle here, I'm in bedroom number 2. When we would have measured, let's say this receptacle came hard down here. There ain't no way for me to feed on the opposite side because that's the closet wall there. So I could back this receptacle down a bit. And then backing this receptacle down, if I back this down 2 centimeters, I could back this receptacle down 2 centimeters. So just a matter, like I said, of cosmetics. I'm saying this, but say again. Yes, sir. That's how you come right to point. You put a little dot first, and then you go to say, all right, fine. If I can back this down, I can back that one down, all right, fine. Then you go ahead and then say, let me do my permanent drawing. Yes. So you're right on point. However, in the backing down process, please don't put or be mindful of, remember how we start and we measured this door space here? I don't want you back down and you back that receptacle in the back of the door because it'll get you in major problems. So you got to be mindful when you mark out in the bedroom first, that's your door. We know I ain't putting a receptacle in the back here. If this area here is 900 millimeters or 1.8 centimeter, I need to have a receptacle there. That's important. If I go, sir? You mean in the back, like here, put a little. You could most definitely do that. You could do that. You won't be penalized for that. It could take some time. It could take some time. What I recommend doing is that you have your centimeter ruler marked where you say 1.8, 3.6, 7.2. You know your 1.8 centimeter represent usable wall space. So when you lay your centimeter rule on that, and if that is less than 1.8 centimeters, you know you don't need to put a receptacle there. So there are means and ways, just an essence of time. I know you want to be, lay it out so it be nice and neat, but that sometimes could take up time. Yeah. But if you practice it and if you master it, then it's fine. But I want you to be mindful, really mindful of that. All okay. Right. Again, you are not using no pencil on this drawing. And so Mr. Green made a good point. Listen, let's do a little dot first. And then you go ahead. I gotta preach this one. In the utility room or your laundry room, coming off of your essential items, you know they don't have to be on no particular wall. If you see that you have them, then put them in place. Don't waste time with it. Put them in place. Go to your plan, put them on nice and neat, and then go to your distribution board and put them in nice and neat. Do not waste time. Don't waste time saying I gotta go ahead and measure. You don't have to measure the receptacles in the laundry room.
Utility, okay.
You don't want in the utility room. You don't have to measure.
Carport.
You do not have to measure them as well. And so if I say it's a 2-car garage, put a 2-car garage inside there. Put 2 receptacles inside of there. You want to be mindful. So, say again, Mr. Saw, sorry.
Yeah, with the pushing receptacles back. How you could push all them back. I got that piece. What I want to know is, let's just say I did the measurements up and I say I can push that one to the end back because it's too close to the wall, and I don't push the rest of them back. Would that be a problem?
So I'm looking at the 1.8 meters or the 3.6 centimeters. I do the conversion so you can understand. All right. And I'm also thinking about usable wall space. So when you push, let's say you push receptacle that's to the back. If you push this up, push that one up, but you don't push the other one that come in before that up. Once that space that you left down in the back of there is less than, is less than the usable wall space or 1.8, you fine. Let me say it again, and I can put it on the board. So Mr. Storr is asking me, all right, Mr. Darville, because this last receptacle came hard on the wall, he can push this receptacle up. I'm saying to you, Mr. Storr, When you push this receptacle up, you push this up, put it here. Make sure the space in between here, it isn't more than 1.8.
All right.
Sorry, 3.6 centimeters.
Yeah, I got you.
No, you ain't got me, because you're supposed to say, Mr. Darwell, they ain't the case. Watch me now. If I say 1.8, that means it's 3.6 centimeters.
Yes, to the conversion on the document looking at now.
So you got that then?
Yeah, the 1.8 meters is the setting that it's supposed to be at. The 3.6 is the conversion because of the scale, 2 centimeters to 1 meter.
So you should tell me, so if you're talking about that 900 millimeters, a usable wall space. You see me? Right. That's what I want you. I want you to nail me down. So Darwell, I ain't gonna let there be no more than 1.8 centimeters because that area there will represent a usable wall space. Right. So make sure I have that area covered. Okay. Because I might want to put a little table with a lamp right down in that corner.
All right. So if I push it back, it's okay that I don't push the rest of them back. But the key thing is to make sure that when I push that back, that space that I pushed it back from isn't more than 900 millimeters or 1.8 meters.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Even though the other receptacle will cover it up there, it may now that cord itself can be exposed. I can look at it and say, what are you doing here? Why are you just try to balance them out? All right. It's important for you for laying this out because the plan itself is 40 points for Section 8. 40 points. Yes, 40 points. And it tells a story. The plan tells a story with the distribution board. And that is why I'm so adamant that you have a good understanding when you laying out your plan and your distribution board. Mr. Green, you got to work in tandem. You can move very swiftly through this if you understand and interpret Section 26.722 in depth, where you know what needs to be on a circuit by itself. And I normally say, after you lay out your utility and the car and your laundry room, when you lay them out, go quickly and lay out your general receptacles. Go quickly and lay out your general receptacles, or go quickly and lay out your lighting circuit. And so if you take the approach where you can do your lighting circuit, then do your lighting circuit, add them up, calculate it, and put them on. So you have all your lights, your single pole switches in place. I want you to be mindful of how this particular drawing is set up. Where you see a three-way system set up for a backdoor light. For the light, in the utility room. So I have a three-way. So I could come in the back door, turn it on, turn it off. The same thing with my carport. Same thing in my hallway. In the hallway, we got a three-way, four-way.
Hey, Mr. Darwell, is there a minimum distance for the three-way switch setup?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, the code don't specify no particular distance they need to be apart. It's important for you to give me those numbering, those essential items, and the section in the code will say, in the utility, I need a receptacle. In the washroom, I need a receptacle. Outdoor receptacles, I need a separate brand circuit. I need them. They need to be numbered. I need to know that. So when I look at that distribution board, we have that clear. The receptacle for the refrigerator isn't the same as the receptacle on my kitchen counters. I want to jump into the kitchen now. Anyone have any other questions with my general receptacles? The code say you should have at least one branch circuit for outdoor receptacles. At least one. So you must have outdoor. And they say, as we read through the code, it must have a weatherproof cap. You see, we got this here, WP, weatherproof cap. On my distribution board, I'm looking for outdoor receptacles. Now, if you put two, then show me the two. If you put one, then show me the one. How I can know that is, number one, from the kilowatts how you did the calculations and with the kilowatts, also from looking for the symbol on the plan. And that is why I stress the communication between my plant and my distribution board have to be in sync. Have to be in sync. This is the instructions. This is the blueprint for my panel. The panel, when I finish labeling this, the homeowner can know which circuit can go for those special purpose outlet. I do my lighting circuit, I get that out of the way. I next quickly go and do my general receptacles. And why I want to do my general receptacles? Because I could plump my air conditions any place. And I say, no, Mr. Darwell, I can't pump them any place because guess what? I need a drain line. And so I had persons tell me when I asked them, explain to me when they put the air conditioner on the inner wall, air conditioner on this inner wall. They said, Mr. Darwell, because I run my drain in the ceiling. You know, they gave me some stuff. I'm saying to you, when you lay out your receptacle, don't allow me to assume you know or you didn't know. Put that air conditioner on that exterior wall. If your air conditioner is close to your general receptacles, no problem. But don't put your air conditioner on the interior wall. So I ain't sure what you're thinking. So we don't want no questions. Everybody follow that?
Question.
Yes, sir?
Nowadays, especially with the split units,
Douglas?
why they asked us now to put receptacles
in the ceiling?
No, on the outside.
On the outside, yep. Well, see
a switch with a switch or plug.
And that's for safety.
Right.
That is primarily for safety. Like, all right, so back in the day, we go right out there and just run our circuit from where the air conditioning be located to the breaker panel.
Right.
You, the AC man, come to do the servicing. I gotta come inside the house to turn it off, and then mama might be in their room, or somebody come home and say, "Why they ain't got the AC on, man?" And they click it on, and you out there servicing. And so that's a safety.
You charge them up.
Yes, sir.
You don't know that.
Yep. Some people, when they go up, they just can't come back down.
You and I.
They just can't come back down. So that's extremely important. And again, the code just give you the minimum requirement safety. The inspector has that final say.
Yeah.
Product say.
Yeah. You guys do that now over here.
No, yeah, that's for safety, especially even one time ago, receptacles that used to be used for maintenance purposes. People used to go and just tap them in on the disconnect for the air conditions that are on the roof. Now the code makes it mandatory that, listen, if you have rooftop units or you're doing maintenance up on high buildings, you must have a separate receptacle for that. Because that mess up phase rotation with some units, fire, short, all type of crazy stuff. And so that's one of the, yep, new requirements. All right, so let's dive in. First, any questions on now the measurement for laying out our receptacles? Let me get a little debrief on that. So we know in our hallway, our receptacle should be no more than 4.5 meters from one other receptacle. And so when we do that conversion, we said 4.5 times 2, because 2 centimeters represent a meter in this case. And that's where we say we come up with 9 centimeters. And so I said we can close those doors, we can put a dotted line where the living room is. And if my hallway measures more than 9 centimeters, I need to have 2 receptacles. That's the place. Secondly, we talk about our receptacles in our general area. The code says our receptacles should be no more than 1.8 meters apart from each other. When we do our conversion, and Mr. Joseph gave a very good description of how he interpret his conversion. He said, all right, Mr. Darwell, I understand 1.8 meters is the distance receptacles need to be placed apart. And because this code say 2 centimeters represent 1 meter, I have to multiply the 1.8 by 2 to get my centimeter conversion. Therefore, my first receptacle have to be placed 3.6 centimeters from the starting wall. and 3.6 meters onwards as I move from each receptacle. And then we looked at, and Mr. Storer brought a point that if I know that, listen, my next receptacle is within, it isn't as much as 3.6 centimeters. And so if I want to back that receptacle down, I could back that receptacle down, and I could back the other receptacles down, bearing in mind that they stand within inside that 3.6 centimeters, they need to be apart from each other. But he's also aware now that, hey, listen, that usable wall space, a 900 millimeter or a 1.8 centimeters, we need to make certain we bear that in mind. And so that is our internal measurement. I also indicated that your lighting circuit, you want to make certain you want to use a dotted line to show that single pole switch. It's good practice to put your light in the center of your living room. Ms. Tyson, I expect you to ask me a question with that. The questions coming from the from the examiner is that a modern house, and so we expect to see either a light or a fan. My recommendation: don't put a fan, because that drawing for the fan, they probably might find it difficult to find that on a stencil. So just use a regular receptacle, but don't give me a bold line. Give me a broken line showing my switch controlling those lights. And then we stressed again that my receptacles, if I have a 2-car garage, I need to have 2 receptacles in that car spot, in the car garage, we have 2, but they have to be on a circuit by themselves. And we stress that outdoor receptacles must also be on a branch circuit as independent to themselves. Any questions? Now we dive into the kitchen. Any questions?
The circuits inside the carport. If it's two cars, I can use one circuit just for that area, or each one supposed to be on their own circuit?
No, you use one circuit for those 2. You could also use, if it's indicated that garage has an overhead motor, you could even put that on that circuit as well.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, sir. No problem. Section 26722 specifies that, clearly lays that out. Okay, so let's dive into the our kitchen. And so the code don't tell you that where in the kitchen to put your receptacle for the refrigerator.
Mr. Dawal, what I missed just now, my internet,
we just did a little debrief on how we lay out the receptacles. I just went over that. As Yasa saying, recapping, because I going into the kitchen now. So I covered everything we did in an over brief, a little briefing.
Okay, back to what I was saying before the internet cut out, right? I know you make mention that the GFCI in the bathroom could go on along with the circuits, with the bedroom circuit. Right?
Go ahead, I listen.
So, like the receptacles in the kitchen, they GFCI also.
Okay.
Can these join on with any other circuit? No?
No, sir.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll show you from the code where the code tell you how that's supposed to be. All right. The code didn't specify. The code didn't specify the receptacles in the bathroom needs to be a GFCI. It didn't specify. The code been specific on the distance the receptacle need to be from a shower stall, a wash, etc. 1 meter.
Oh.
Right.
So a bathroom, we use a regular receptacle then, is what you say.
However, the common practice here in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas is that receptacles in bathrooms are protected by GFCI. And so I am one who encouraged that. Still encourage that. I encourage that. And so it's good practice for you to see, like how we have indicated on this drawing, that we have a GFCI receptacle. Okay? All right, so that's good practice. Again, with the manufacturers and rendering the weatherproof receptacle cover, the receptacles outdoors one time had to be GFCI. It isn't mandatory now. And so again, but you got to make certain that when you lay this receptacle out for your outdoor receptacle, you got to put a WP there, a weatherproof plate.
That's what they're saying by this front door right there.
Yes, sir. It's a weatherproof plate, weatherproof cover, WP or, yeah. All right, so let's dive into the kitchen. So my refrigerator in the kitchen, you got to tell me, that's my refrigerator in the kitchen. That's a refrigerator in the kitchen. If the question paper tells you that the homeowner, and you want, this is where you got to be extremely mindful that when you read the question paper, if you have an electrical range, then you have to indicate what the range is actually rated for on your distribution board. And then you got to show me, like how we have down inside the laundry room, you got to show me a special purpose outlet for that electrical range. In this drawing, we only have a gas range. In the code,
So that's a regular duplex then.
That's a regular duplex. We know when we install it, it is 350 millimeters from the ground. And the code also told us that we could put that on the refrigerator circuit. That clock thing, we could put that on that circuit. That is just for the electric igniter. Right. So we could put that on that circuit. So on my distribution board, I'll say refrigerator. I will put that receptacle in, but I don't have to make mention of it. Okay? Right. However, you see, it's directly behind the fridge, that stove. That's how come I know that's there. Okay. All right. So let's go to section 26722, which speaks about the distance apart for our receptacles in the kitchen. The distance apart. And I have it here. On the board. So let's look at, we have our kitchen laid out. We have a kitchen laid out. And let's pull up that section from the code, so we can see that. Let me see it from the code. The code speaks about receptacles in the kitchen. So section 26722, subrule D, it says, in dwelling unit, there shall be installed in each kitchen one receptacle for each refrigerator. 2, where gas supplied pipe or a gas connected outlet has been provided for a freestanding gas range, 1 receptacle behind the intended gas range, located not more than 130 millimeters from the floor and as at near midpoint as practical, measuring along the floor line of the wall space intended for the gas range. And this here is where we are. I'm gonna highlight this. A sufficient number of receptacles, and they could be 15 or 5-15 split or 5-20 or along the wall at the counterweight surface, excluding zinc, building equipment, and isolated work surface excluding an isolated work surface less than 300 millimeters along the wall line, so that no point along the wall line is more than 900 millimeters from a receptacle measuring horizontally along the wall line. To give you some clear interpretation, all the code is saying, let me go back to the plan. All the code is saying, before we can start laying out those receptacles, 600 millimeters, we got to take in consideration, hey, what we can do with that zinc. We got to do something. We got to be 300 millimeters away from the zinc. And so when we convert 300 millimeters into meters, everybody know how to do that? Somebody convert 300 millimeters into meters, into centimeters, sorry. Mr. Joseph, you got the conversion?
Give me I didn't hear what you said. You said
That's
convert it
0.3?
into meters or into centimeters?
One in the centimeters.
That's
30
30.
centimeters.
How much centimeters is that?
That's 30 centimeters.
We want all right, no, I have 300 millimeters.
Yeah, if you convert it into centimeters, it's 30 centimeters.
But you remember what our plan tells us? 2 centimeters represent a meter.
That is correct. So obviously
All right.
times by that. So that's 60.
That's 0.6 centimeters. We got to divide by 1,000 and multiply by 2.
Question. Wait.
Okay. I have millimeters.
That's 0.68.
0.6. That's correct. So I have millimeters. I can divide it by 1,000.
Oh, you have to divide it by 100. Going into centimeters, not.
We go into meters first though, because you plan to tell me 2 centimeters represent a meter.
Which is true.
I know. So I divide that 300 by 1,000 and then multiply by 2 to get me centimeters. So I got 0.6.
So that'd be 0.6
centimeters. Yeah. 0.6 centimeters. So if you look on the board here, so Joseph, what I've done here, and I want you looking from the kitchen, in the kitchen on the drawing that I have on the screen, but look on the board as well. What I did, so I say, this is my zinc. This is my zinc. And so on either side of the zinc, I measure off 0.6 centimeters. Everybody see that? I measure off.
Mr. Darwin, you could tell the screen mark a little bit, please. Slightly.
I mean, up or down?
Right there.
Right there? Okay. So I measure on either side of the zinc. I get at 300 millimeters or 0.6 centimeters. Either side of the zinc. And then the code just told us our receptacles should be no more than 600 millimeters apart from each other. I have to convert that 600. So what we got, Mr. Store, when I do the conversion?
Say again?
I said, tell me now. So the code tell me first, before I could start laying
1.2.
my receptacles, I have, and the code say I don't want no receptacles within 300 millimeters of the zinc, this building area. So when I convert that 300 millimeters into centimeters, I said 300 divided by 1,000. And then I multiply it by 2. That's why I got my centimeters.
In that line.
No,
but I didn't. You probably don't want to give it a car right now.
Somebody else.
So you hide it.
Mr. Grant.
Yeah.
Mr. Grant, you gotta mute yourself, Mr. Grant.
Huh?
Oh, sorry.
All right. All right. So we got the 0.6 centimeters on either side, or 300 millimeters, and then the code tell me no receptacles should be no more than 900 millimeters apart from each other. I have to convert that 900 millimeters, and this is where I say don't get mixed up with that 1.8. But you can see this 1.8 come back again, and you can say, but I thought we talk about a regular receptacle. The first 1.8 we talk about was 1.8 meters. The code say my kitchen counter receptacles should be no more than 900 millimeters from each other. When I convert 900 millimeters into centimeters, I come to 1.8 centimeter. So when I measure from my first marking, after I take out that 300 millimeters, my first receptacle is 1.8 centimeter. Everybody follow that? And the next one is 1.8 plus another 1.8 is give us 3.6 centimeters. And if you find out, you could put another, because My next receptacle will be the 3.6 plus another 1.8. 8. That'll give us 3, 4, 5. 5.4. 5.4. You'll find, if you find we could get another receptacle there, that's a big kitchen. And we know, of course, it's a duplex receptacle we're using out there. The code only allowing us to have two receptacles, excuse me, 2 receptacles on one branch circuit in the kitchen, only 2. You could split them, and if you split them, then you could almost double up.
So which two will be on the circuit by itself on the side where you at?
You could what I did here, if you look at these numbers, what I did, I said I split this receptacle. So this side is on branch circuit number 4, and this one on number 4. This side on 3, and that side on 3.
Oh, okay,
That's if I split them.
That's if you cut the bridge in the middle, is what you say.
Yes, sir. Same thing I did over here. I said I split this receptacles. I put this side and this side on 1, this side and that side on 2. Okay.
Oh, all right.
But because I could only have 2 of them on one branch circuit, this one here, you see, I only have this as number 5. That's by itself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Extremely important. And then when I try to mimic a little kitchen, this receptacle in here is for the refrigerator. Have nothing to do with it.
But what I see over here, like the receptacle where you is now, will be on the circuit cross from the one on the next side.
So you could, depending on how you put the roughen down.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't want you to see this as giving you a wiring or a piping layout.
Yeah. Right.
For calculation, see how we come up with this. All right. It is not a common practice for average electricians to actually do this independently. It have to be where the homeowner or the ledger saying, I want my kitchen counter receptacles to be split. Also from section 26.7.200E, it also tell us that we could use 15 amp or 20 amp. So it's important for you to indicate what it is that you're using. And on our distribution board, that is what can tell us what size wire. So if you're using number 12 wire, then we're using 20 amp receptacles. Yes, sir. That's important. And so I don't know that, but when I look at the 20 amp, when I look at number 12 wire, and you have a 15 amp breaker, I know what are you talking about? Store or trying to do on his own thing. Any question with laying out the receptacles in the kitchen? Very simple if you understand the concept, the measurement concept.
I understand it, right? But I think with the GFCI, they could be regular, but they be control of the GFCI.
All right, so the code again don't specify that for them to be GFCI. However, the license authority has the final say.
Okay.
And you remember early on in class, we indicated that, hey, listen, what sense it make having 2 GFCI or 1 GFCI protecting the other one? We looked at that.
Right.
Looked at that. Right. So what inspectors say I want them to be GFCI. My thing, and I think this is why the push to make it mandatory that the receptacles in the kitchen don't be split. Why it ain't mandatory is because number 1, I'm working on in the kitchen cleaning, washing dishes. I can also easily go and reach to pull out that receptacle, a plug. And so first, that's one of the reasons why that distance for that receptacle to be 300 millimeters or 0.6 centimeters. I think that's one of the primary reasons for that. Number 2, folks still go ahead and got their hand in the water and trying to pull out the plug, pull out the blender. Right? And that could be extremely dangerous. And so again, a lot of time, especially if the grounding ain't done properly and you're washing dishes barefoot, you could get a good tickle. And then again, you might have a dishwasher underneath your zinc, or you might have a motor up underneath there for garbage disposal. All of them supposed to be on circuits by themselves, independent. So you want to be mindful of that as well, because that could become extremely dangerous. Extremely dangerous. Any question on this? Okay, why we swallow that well. So you will put it, all right, so we will draw it. You see like how we have the receptacle for the stove? Look at the kitchen. You see my screen, right? Okay, you see right behind here where we have it in the kitchen where the stove is. So we'll have a receptacle there. If it's 120, so we just have it labeled in the distribution panel as garbage disposal. If it's 240, then we'll have it like how we have down in the utility room. See with the shaded in triangle. And then I'll get that information out of the from the distribution board. And we have a 240 electric stove, 240 garbage disposal, etc. Yeah, so that'll be shown from the details, because you won't be able to get full isometric drawings onto this one. Yeah, no, you won't do that. That's correct. And that's why, and very, very good point, Mr. Green. That is why I'm saying the information on your distribution board for those essential items is so important to how we interpret what it is that you put on the plan. So when I go and I look at the distribution board, I see circuit number 8 and 10. Okay, fine. That's the dryer. That's the washing machine. That's the heater. Extremely important. Good point. All right. Any other questions? Okay.
The receptacles in the kitchen. You don't have to specify which. You
say kitchen counter receptacles on your distribution board. Kitchen counter receptacles.
Okay.
So in this case, we have 1, 2, 3. We have 4 kitchen counter receptacles. If you put in 2 of them on each circuit, so I'm looking at kitchen counter receptacles and I'm looking at the kilowatts. Yes, all you saying kitchen counter receptacles. You notice I have numbers on the side of it, on the side of this one here. Look at it. You see they split?
Oh, bring it back down. It was fine, Redwood.
Oh, I mean, look on the screen. Look on the screen.
Oh, I mean the drawing. Okay.
The drawing, yeah. You see they split receptacles.
So.
All right. You don't have to do them like that. Fine, you could do it like that. But you know the code, that means you only have 2 receptacles inside, and 2 branch circuit inside, where you could have 4. You got me? My thing is that hopefully this will become a practice that the electricians, because a lot of homes get into trouble with the microwave when they come inside there. They ain't making provision for the microwave, like the code say in that cupboard, and they rest it right on the counter. So if you split the receptacles, even though you're cheating, because they ain't supposed to be counted on that kitchen counter, you won't have a tripping problem. However, one of the safety concerns, when you split receptacles, if they're not on the same phase, then you could have 240 in the box. You have 240 in the box. Okay. All right. So I promised for me to stop for 8. However, we have, and I have clearance, like I will indicate to you all, for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, if and we'll go Friday. If additional time is needed, even though the exam is on the 28th, indicate. I could actually burn you out if need be. I will do that. I would upload, once I get home this evening, I would upload this recording along with the recording from the other class. And then I would put the material question, I will upload that as well. I'll send that. So we have that to look at. What I want you to start doing though, you have a mindset of saying, I have section A to some extent organized and working with the timing. And you should come with a ton of questions to asking, hey, how I'm doing this, if it feel okay, X, Y, Z. What I'm trying to do is dump some time into this week. So next week, we could actually start talking about reviewing. Just to say, fine, how we look at transformers, we got that. Motors, you got that. Voltage drop. And I'll pick one of them apart every other evening to make sure we covered with that. As I wrap up the material question and some info from the code question. Okay. So that's my 5 cents for this evening. God's willing, tomorrow for 5, I'll be here, and then we can actually continue and move from there. Again, my recommendation is for you all to continue that study. The 28 can be here just as quick as the 14 will be here. Only the 14 will be a little quicker.
Hey, Mr. Davo, I saw some questions on this paper that I have, and we haven't went over them. Some of them is like
question 7, question 6, question 7, the relative brightness question. 5, 6, and 7. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Question 5, 6, and 7. Yeah. So, yeah, that piece of cake. Well, you'll see when we do the material question.
So they're the questions we need to tackle it if they sound so.
Yeah, well, I would most definitely can give you them. The material question, 2 hours. If you in the field, you know how to identify and hook up, for example, a 3-way switch. It ain't gonna be the way how you would have done wiring up a switch if you did trade school. It's a line drawing you will have to do. And I'll show you how that is done. Very, very simple. You can need color markers for that as well. So that takes a little bit more time though. Even though it's simple, it'll take a bit more time. No, so that moment I just split that circuit. Oh, 240. Okay, right. So let me talk a little bit more on that. Okay, so let's look at the utility room first. You see in the utility room where we have the triangle, and you see that black color in there? That tells me that's 240. Right, okay. Where I have my split receptacles. The split receptacle, in the absence of having that triangle, it's telling me now those receptacles are split. And I'm saying you have to be mindful if you go split receptacles, and if they ain't coming off the same phase, when I'm wiring them up, I gotta be mindful, because if I put them on L1 and L2, I got 240 in there. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Yes. Right. Yeah, that's very yeah. That's correct. Yeah. So, 3, that's correct.
So you're saying make sure the phase is 1 and 5 then?
You want to make sure, yeah, so you on the same phase.
Instead of 1 and 3.
Right. Because you only want 120. No. Yeah, only if you have receptacles in the kitchen, the code only allow them to be on it, and only you have 2. Now they give exceptions to that clock, the recess clock receptacle, but you can either put it on one of them or the refrigerator. That's the only one. Okay. All right. So God's willing, tomorrow evening, same time, 5. I'll try light up 5, and then we take it from there.
Would you be on campus as well tomorrow?
Yes, sir. I'm on campus now, by the way.
Okay.
Yep. All right. So good evening, God's willing. So let's get through this. Let's get this done. I think You guys are closer and ladies are closer than you think. I'm getting this out. Okay. All right, good evening.
All right, good evening.
Okay, bye-bye.